Hey guys, so it's been a while since we've discussed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Episode 10 came out about 4 weeks ago, and now we have episode 11. The titles are Past Life and All the Comforts of Home. Now, for episode 10, the first thing you remember is that Sinara was killed in episode 9. So, of course, Cassius was furious about this and wanted to bring her back. But the doctor who revived the humans using Kree blood said that it's not possible to do it with the Kree, so he killed him too. And that's it for Sinara. Now, we also knew that Cassius had a prophet who told him exactly what was going to happen, hence why he knew that S.H.I.E.L.D. was coming back to the lighthouse. Cassius' prophet turned out to be Yo-Yo, and it is our Yo-Yo who found her. Now, this prophet is the same Yo-Yo, but from a different timeline, from the future. She was brought back to life and killed again and again, and she even had no arms, so we can really see that she underwent like brutal elements from Cassius and his men. But she revealed everything. The revelations including that Coulson is actually dying. Now earlier in the episode, Cassius gives one of his warriors, the trainee of the new Inhumans, something similar to what the Dark Elves used in Thor Dark World, which made them all dark and hyper, like black stuff was coming out from their mouth and their eyes. Anyways, he went on to fight Daisy, but Coulson was also in that fight and was kinda scratched, hit by the warrior, and thus infected, so he was beginning to die from then on. But even until episode 11, he did not reveal that he was actually dying or that there's something wrong with them. It is Yo-Yo who knows because of her other self that Coulson is dying. So the team will try everything to save Coulson, basically, and that's what leads to the extinction of the human race, the destruction of the world, rather. Yo-Yo said to herself that she is actually stuck in a loop where they never get to save the world. She thinks that she can make a difference each time, but it never really happens. So of course, the big thing is that the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. escape this time and go back to their own time. Cassius eats that Thor Dark World thing and is killed by Mac in a fight despite that. Flint rebuilds the monolith out of limestone that they've collected from outer space using his powers. And Daisy wants to stay behind but is iced by Coulson so that she'd go with them. Enoch and Deke, they have this mission. Basically, they're in charge of powering the machine that will allow the monolith to send them back through time. But the power source of the machine is heavily damaged and they need to use Enoch's battery. But by doing so, not only are they sacrificing Enoch, but even Deke himself, the person who'd be operating the machine, is going to have to die. He's going to be vaporized, basically. But he doesn't care. He does so, and he gets the agents home. Now comes episode 11. The first thing we notice is that Dove Cameron has been cast into the MCU and placed a character called Ruby, who is the daughter of General Hale. For those who don't remember, General Hale is the female soldier whose facility took Fitz into custody. Now, Ruby plays a teenage girl, like I said, the daughter of General Hale, who seems to be very obsessed with Daisy Johnson. Obsessed with Quake, rather. When General Hale calls her Daisy Johnson, she says she'd rather call her Quake. I am really excited about this because I'm a big fan of Dove, and I think that she'd really make Ruby a great character. The team gets back into the past, and where they are is still the lighthouse. It turns out that the lighthouse isn't a space station built outside the world. Rather, the lighthouse is literally under a lighthouse. It's another S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, which serves as a bunker for an extinction level event. The only reason it looked like a space station or why it was in space in the first place was because the world around it was shattered into pieces. They also have a friend here, another sentient being just like Enoch, named Noah. Noah points out that the Kree beacon has been active, so it's calling the Kree to Earth. This is the same beacon that Hive was using to call the Kree because he needed them for his plans. Deke, who we all thought died last time as a sacrifice to help the agents come home, actually gets transported back into their time. He gets drunk, doesn't pay the bartender, and gets arrested, but Daisy later on finds out and has to rescue him on her own because the team now needs to handle the beacon. They take the Zephyr to the Kree beacon. One thing I'm thinking about this is, wasn't the Zephyr left with Lance Hunter and Bobby Morse? Weren't they taking care of Robin at this time in that ship? Well, of course it will all play out later on, but as we all know, as the story will go, with the usual protagonist-antagonist thing, this time, in our perspective, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be able to change the future, and maybe all that doesn't have to happen. All the parts of Robin in the whole Kree saga. So they found a familiar face who they were happy with. It was Viper, but later on they discovered that she betrayed them, kinda, because to her she wasn't really betraying them. She told the government, specifically Hale's people, all about the framework, all about Ada, all about the Russian and his submarine, and she was promised that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. would receive, I guess, a fair trial, would be acquitted of charges because she made Viper think that she thought they were innocent of all this. Of course, now I'm thinking General Hale has other ulterior motives because she seems to be the new top bad boss of this saga. But the team who was sent to go after the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was led by this female boss figure who told her men to just kill them all. And this is where things got interesting. We all know Yo-Yo's quick. That's her superpower. But this boss lady was able to throw a blade-like frisbee at her and cut off her arms, even at that speed. So this is the first time Yo-Yo was kind of saying, it's all happening, the prophecy's coming true, because her past self, or rather the future self she saw, who was Kasaya's prisoner, didn't have hands after all. Not to my surprise, the female leader turned out to be Dove Cameron's Ruby. Now Ruby and General Hale seem to have an agreement, plans for S.H.I.E.L.D., but of course Ruby, being obsessed with Quake, was promised Quake, and I like to see how this plays on later on. So maybe Ruby somehow acquires Quake's powers and destroys the world. Maybe that's why she's so obsessed with Quake, she wants her powers. Because, if you remember, she's obsessed with her as Quake and not as Daisy Johnson, so it's not really the person that she wants, but rather what she could do. Despite General Hale posing as a new threat to our team, the Kree, based on the prophecy, still has to come, though the beacon isn't active anymore. But for all this extinction-level events to happen, for Quake, if it really was Quake who destroyed the world, to destroy the world, then the Kree has to come. What do you think of all this? Where is Marvel bringing this show? I can't wait to find out, to be honest. So if you like this video, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more great videos.